Alrighty kids, here we are back at it with another video. Harley Q here, your one and only, and we are here to talk about my favorite PlayStation 2 games. Now this is a topic I hold very near and dear to me, for if you've been watching my channel for a while and if you've been on my Twitch, twitch.tv/harleyqs_playtime, you'll know that I am a huge fan of the PlayStation. I grew up on the Sony PlayStation, both the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, I had the 3, and I have the 4. Actually, I still have the 3, I don't know why I used past tense for that. But I'm a huge fan of PlayStation altogether. I think that Sony does a great job when it comes to making exclusive games for their system, and we're just gonna have a brief discussion on what my favorite games are. Okay, so this list is in no particular order. We're gonna start with just a pile of PlayStation 2 games that I have here. I'm just going to kind of talk about the game, and we're just going to go and see where this happens. So the first game I'm going to talk about is Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. This one was a game that was randomly given to me as a kid. I did not actually go out and buy it. It's a platforming game. You have these different attacks. You have your chomp, you throw your boomerang. It does a bunch of different things, and the art style is really nice. I feel like this is a game that I would still play today. It's fairly cheap to get. It's not a very sought after game. It's not a PlayStation exclusive, but I did play it on the PlayStation, and I actually beat this game. It's one of the few games that I beat in its entirety. It's a solid game. You get different types of boomerangs with different powers, and it's just really fun. The characters are nice, the voice acting's not bad, and overall it's just a really polished game, so recommend. The next game I have is Turok Evolution. This is actually the first Turok game that I ever got, and the multiplayer is actually really fun in it. I haven't played another Turok game. This was the only one I have. I do have one for my N64 that I haven't actually played yet, so maybe I'll do a compare and contrast. Maybe we'll do a whole Turok series, because there are multiple Turok games. But this one's fun. The story's pretty good. It's your basic, you just kind of go through and shoot things and whatever, but there's probably more to it than that, but from what I remember. I did really like the multiplayer. I love that you can play as a raptor. There's actually a level in here where you're in kind of a treehouse area, and if you fall to the ground, you get killed by raptors. So the goal was to actually knock your opponent down and the raptors would take him out. At least that was one strategy you could do. So it was a fun game to just do a couch co-op with that kind of thing. So, fun game. What can I say about this one except for, goddamn, this is a good Tony Hawk game. Now, there are a bunch of Tony Hawk games that are amazing, but I personally love American Wasteland. Now, the reason why I like American Wasteland is because it's your typical skateboarding game. There's nothing too crazy about it, but there's a lot of customization to your character, and I really liked the whole customization and making your character look unique. That was really cool to me. Another thing I really liked about it was there was a pretty good soundtrack in it. It has like Green Day songs and songs that were sung by Green Day. I think Rochambeau is in here, by The Network, which is Green Day. Another band Green Day goes under. My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, Taking It Back Sunday. So if you were born in like if you were born in like the 90s and you grew up going to high school in the early 2000s, this was the soundtrack to your life. Solid game. You can actually play as Billy Joe Armstrong. I remember that. That was a very big thing. I like Green Day. Now these next two I'm going to lump together because they go together. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Again, if you come to my Twitch channel, I talk about Kingdom Hearts quite a bit. I love Kingdom Hearts so much. I actually have a Keyblade. I cosplayed as Kairi. I went to Comic-Con forever ago as Kairi from Kingdom Hearts 2. It would help if I held out the right game. Anyway, these are pretty solid games. The gameplay's fun. I have to say gameplay for 2 is personally more better. I actually didn't beat Kingdom Hearts right away when it came out. I did get it when it first came out, but I didn't beat it until a couple years later because I got stuck on the Tarzan level, which I found out a lot of people actually get stuck on that level, so kind of interesting. But solid game, great story. Best story out of all of them, I think, is the first one. The second one is where things start to go downhill. Still pretty good. Story's not terrible, but it's obviously not as good as the first one, and then that's when they start to go, you have your GBA for Chain of Memories, and then they start doing all those decimal points and re-releases and all that wonderful jazz later down the line. But Kingdom Hearts 2, definitely a solid game still. The gameplay I liked better because you had those like quick time events kind of thing with the triangle, and you could morph and all that stuff, and that was pretty cool, and Anti-Sword was pretty badass, and the first time that happened, I was shook. Kingdom Hearts 2, pretty good. And actually, Kingdom Hearts 3 was the first game I ever streamed on Twitch, so there's that. How can you have a game list without Tetris? Now, this is kind of a weird one. Out of all the systems you could play Tetris on, why would you choose the PlayStation 2? I don't know, there was something about it. It was just, they have so many different game modes of Tetris on here. I love Tetris. I have Tetris Worlds for my GBA, so I just love it. It's colorful, you have these little cube figure things, and they're just cute. It's an adorable Tetris game, and then you have the endless Tetris, and it's fun. It's just a nice way to play Tetris, and I sunk so many hours into this Tetris game, and even on the GBA, I would finish this Tetris and then go just play more Tetris, because apparently you just can't have enough Tetris. So you have to have a fighting game when you're talking about these kind of games. You have to. You just have to. And mine obviously isn't like everybody else's fighting games. It's a Godzilla game. So anyway, yeah, my nephew is obsessed with Godzilla, and we got this for him at a GameStop one day, and we started playing it, and it's actually a really solid game. It looks pretty good. It's your typical fighting game, except you're fighting with Godzilla, and what can you say about that? Godzilla's pretty badass. You have all the different Godzillas that you can play. You have Mothra, you have King Ghidorah, Mega Godzilla, Mecha, whatever the fuck you call him, Mecha Godzilla, so pretty awesome. How can you have a list about PlayStation without having a Grand Theft Auto game on there? Now, I feel like everyone's favorite Grand Theft Auto for the PlayStation 2 was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I disagree. It's Vice City all the way, baby. Awesome soundtrack. You got Ray Liotta. So many famous voice actors in this game alone. And did I say the soundtrack's awesome? Where you're located is awesome. Vice City is an awesome place. The cars are awesome. The 80s is awesome. If you were a 90s kid, you wish you were born in the 80s. I don't know, it was just the thing. It's just a great game. It's got a great story. I think the story's better than San Andreas. It's my favorite game of one. It's one of my favorite games of all time. My dad still plays it to this day. We actually got him a digital copy for the PlayStation 4, so he is loving it. I love this game. So solid. Such a solid game. And lastly, the last game. Now again, this is in no particular order, but our last game is Destroy All Humans. Now, I love this game because it's utterly ridiculous, utterly fabulous, and is just a solid game. It's got the guy who does the voice for Invader Zim. Can't complain about that. You've got so many different ways to kill people. It's just a fun game. I mean, if you lie and you say you don't like to probe people in this game, you've clearly never actually played this game, because it's absolutely hilarious. It's actually a little harder than I remember it being, but it's still a pretty good game, and they're gonna have a remaster of it, so I'm really excited about that. And I will be purchasing it, and I will be streaming it, because this game is a solid goddamn game with solid goddamn voice acting, and it actually doesn't look half bad either. So that's my list. It was really hard to pick a couple of games that I really liked for the PlayStation, because there are so many that you could pick from. Those were just a couple that I know by heart that I've played a million times, but the list could go on forever. The PlayStation 2 was such a well-rounded system that there were so many games that came out for it that were just so innovative, and that's part of the reason why I like to buy for it. I always go after PlayStation 2 games. They're just a fun thing to collect for, so that's pretty much it. Anyway, tell me what you think of the video. Are you a PlayStation 2 fan? What system do you primarily collect for? What games do you recommend that I get for the PlayStation 2? Make sure to like and subscribe, maybe? And also make sure to check out my Twitch channel, where I will at some point be streaming probably most of those games at some point. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. And always, it's crazy out there. Stay safe.